Hi guys, so this session is all about spine mobility and that old saying, maybe you've heard it before, you're only as old as your spine is mobile. Now I remember saying that in a class about a year ago and really offending somebody, but it's my firm belief that the more that we focus on our mobility and the movement through the center of our bodies, the more that we're able to maybe stop any injuries, the more aware we're becoming. And again, that idea and that notion that when we're focusing on our core stable, when we're focusing on our center space, we're able to really fine-tune the spine, the main joints, the shoulders and the hips, and of course the breath, which is the underlying foundation of any movement that we're making in yoga. So we're going to start off by lying down. So with your legs bent, just feeling your feet into the floor and bringing your arms down by your side. And just take a moment here. So closing your eyes if that's comfortable. And just taking a nice big deep inhale. And a long slow exhale. And I want you to notice your body, so I want you to bring your attention down into the soles of your feet, into your ankles, your lower legs, your knees, your upper legs, your hips, your pelvis, your low back, your belly, sides of your waist, your ribs, the base of your neck, your shoulders, your collarbones, your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your hands back up the length of your arms into your throat, back of your head, the top of your head, your jaw, your lips, your tongue, and just be aware of any areas where you feel like you're holding on. And just see if you can allow those areas, if they're there, to just finally drop and release into the floor. So see if you can drop those areas on your exhale down into your mat. Taking a nice big deep inhale and a long slow exhale. So really slowly we're going to start to take the arms out to the side so they're about shoulder height. Face your palms up towards the ceiling. Make sure your feet are at least hip distance apart, and we're just going to start to windscreen wiper the legs. So you just start to drop your knees from side to side. Your legs don't have to come all the way to the floor. We're just easing into the center of the body, the hips, moving and gently rocking out through the pelvis. And then as you next drop your legs over towards the right side, we're going to place the right foot outside of the left knee. And then I want you to reach your arms into the space behind you. You're going to hook your thumbs and we're just going to extend the arms, reach through the fingertips. And I just want you to take a nice big deep inhale through the nose. And exhale all the way out through your nose. And you're going to take one more breath here. And then you're going to slowly release out, bring your arms back into neutral, and again, just start to windscreen wiper the legs from side to side. So you're going to do that a few times, and then we're going to set that static position up on the left side. So drop your knees over to the left, bring your left foot, place it outside of the right knee. Then this time we're going to reach the arms into the space behind. You're going to interlace your fingers and rotate your palms towards the back of the room. I want you to keep your shoulder blades moving down either side of the spine so there's space between the tops of the shoulders and your ears. And you're just breathing here. Breathe deep into the right side of your body. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly release. Now you're going to plant your feet back down into the floor and just take a moment here. I want you to gather your right thigh in towards your belly, your knee in towards your chest. So you're interlacing your fingers into your right shin. And then really slowly you're going to start to extend your left leg towards the bottom edge of your mat. So twists are great for the lower back. Yoga is great for lengthening and stretching the muscles in the lower back. So you're going to slowly turn this into supine twist. We're going to bring the left hand outside of the right knee, and you're going to slowly roll all the way onto the left side of your body. So most of us will find that the knee doesn't come all the way to the floor. That's fine. If you're rolling and lifting your right shoulder, you're definitely going to enable the knee to come further down. So why don't you try that now? Roll all the way onto the left side. Bring your right shoulder with you and keep the hand outside of the knee. So we're trying to keep it planted. Now we're going to reach with the right arm into the top corner of the mat. So the likelihood of the hand, the arm, or the right shoulder blade touching the floor is fairly minimal here, unless we're really mobile in the shoulder girdle. So just notice, if it feels like you're really hanging out in the right shoulder joint, just gently place your right fingertips onto the top of the shoulder. This shortens the arm and lessens the weight that's falling down into the right rotator cuff. But it's a nice opening deep into the armpit, and you're going to hold here, go easy on your neck, and breathe as deeply as you can. So taking a nice big deep inhale and exhale all the way out. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, we're going to return all the way to center. Again, just bending your legs, bringing your feet into the floor, arms down by your side. So we're just resetting. We're coming back into the space of the primary masses, head, ribs, pelvis. And then we're going to draw the left thigh, left knee in towards the belly and the chest. Take a moment here. And then you're going to start to extend the right leg. So notice any shifts in the center of your body as you extend your right leg towards the bottom edge of your mat. You can keep your right foot fairly active, so flex your toe tips towards your shin. Then we're going to come into the twist the other side. So right hand outside of left knee, rolling all the way. Bring the left shoulder with you. So this is core stability because you're using control. You're trying to keep the movement slow and stable. So as you roll all the way over, you'll hopefully make contact with the inside of the left knee to the floor. Then when you've set that up, you're going to reach with your left arm into the top corner of your mat. You're rotating your palm up towards the ceiling. So this creates that nice outward rotation through the shoulder. If this feels too much, then again, bend the arm, place your fingertips onto the top of the shoulder, and just hang here, breathe. Again, bringing your awareness back into your inhale, into your exhale, and releasing as much as you can here. Take one more breath. And then on your next in-breath, you're going to reset all the way back to center. Again, just bringing your feet into the floor. Take a moment, and then really slowly you're going to roll onto your left side. Take a moment on your left side. So this is a really nice position. We're just allowing the body to feel supported. You're creating a rounded shape through your spine, and you're just placing your palm into the floor. And then slowly on your next in-breath, you're going to push yourself all the way up, and we're going to come into all fours. So we're going to sit up on all fours. So you're going to bring your knees underneath your hips and you're going to bring your wrists underneath your shoulders. So just take a moment to set this up properly. I want you to take a look down towards your hands, and I really want you to spread your fingers and your palms into the mat underneath you. So you're spreading your fingers enough so that you can see the webbing at the base of each of your fingers. And I want you to root down through the knuckle of the first finger and the heel of the thumb. So take a moment here, check that out, and then see if you can come into that neutral space. So your head, your ribs, your pelvis stack. So keeping the arms like struts for the moment, drawing your belly gently in and up. So we're starting to draw into our core stable. It's like you're drawing your belly button in and up towards your spine, but it's just a gentle lift. Don't strain. On your next inhale, you're going to start to lift your chest, tilt your pelvis. Bring your gaze a little bit further forwards. Keep your shoulders moving down either side of the spine. And then on your next exhale, you're going to start to round your spine towards the ceiling. So find this movement. You're breathing in as you lift the chest, tilt the pelvis, go easy on your neck. On your exhale, you're rounding your spine like an angry cat up towards the ceiling. Press your palms deep into the floor. Keep your arms like struts. So you're keeping your arms straight. And just follow that movement. Set your own pace with your inhale and your exhale. Now, if you need a little bit more stability or there's anything going on in the tops of the knees, you can tuck your toes under. Or if you find it really painful to be on your knees for this movement, then use a blanket to provide extra cushioning. So now I'd like you please to start to soften into the arms. So as you next inhale, you're going to start to bend the elbows. Now you're swiveling your elbows in towards the sides of your body. Now this is going to create more space in the shoulder girdle. And then as you exhale, you're straightening your arms, pushing your palms, arcing the spine. Breathing in as you lift, tilt, soften into the elbows. And as you exhale again, rounding. And just continue with that movement in your own time, with your own breath. Don't forget the soft, active space in the center of your body. You're gently drawing your belly in and up. You're going to do that a few more times. So these are spine limbers, and we're going to do a couple of variations on this. Notice if you're speeding your breath up to match the movement or vice versa. As you next lift your chest and tilt your pelvis, we're just going to come into neutral space and just sit back on your heels and just take a moment here to shake your wrists and your hands out. So we're going to find some different movement now. This is very subtle, but great for the movement of the center of the body. So again, resetting onto all fours. Take your time to do this, there's no rush. Now we're going to find some bilateral movement through the center of the body. And you're not going to see very much going on. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing and you're going to see if you can follow. So you're going to start to push down through your right palm, press down through your right palm and through your left knee. So push your left knee and your right palm deeper into the floor. Feel the activation through the diagonal line. You'll notice the parts of your body that are working here, and then you're going to release out from that press. And we're now going to press down through the left palm, through the right knee. The right knee and the left palm. Notice the activation. Keep your neck nice and long. The top of your head extending into the space in front. And just repeat that. So you're pulsing from side to side. Maybe take a breath or two as you work into this cross-lateral movement. So that diagonal line through the center of the body. Notice the parts of your body in the back of the body that are activating. That undulation, fish-like movement through the center of your body. You're going to do that a couple more times either side. So what I love about this movement and when I'm doing my own practice is sometimes if I'm tired and I've had a busy day, doing this kind of passive movement still proves to me that I can do good for my body and I'm looking after my body, but without using up unnecessary energy. You're going to do that once more either side. And then when you're done, again, we're just going to sit back on the heels and just shake the wrists and the fingers out. So I always like to reset between movements. Maybe circles into the wrists. So the third variation of our cat-cow is now what I call like the washing machine effect. And we're, again, going to do different variations on that. So coming onto all fours. Again, setting wrists under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, not forgetting your tuck of the toes if you need that. Now we're going to start off with a rounding through the spine. So you're going to press your palms deeper into the floor. You're arcing your spine up towards the ceiling. Drop your chin towards your chest. And then we're going to take the right hip towards the right side of the room. You're shifting all the way down and around as you drop your belly towards the floor. You're lifting your chest. And you're making a circular motion as you move all the way around to the left side. And you're going to find that circular motion, that washing machine, that churning, swirling motion through the center of the body. And the more that you get into this, the more that your body, your elbows are going to naturally start to bend. Because I really want you to use this as an opportunity to move into any areas, any corners or curves of your body that feel like they need to accept the movement as you breathe and you move. So you can think of this as your kind of daily massage to yourself. If you feel a bit self-conscious, it's very normal to feel a bit self-conscious when we kind of move freestyle in this way. You can close your eyes, that's cool. And just this allows us to sink into the space of the movement and the breath a little bit more. So you're going to take that movement now in the opposite direction. So often in yoga, we're moving clockwise, anti-clockwise. And the movement becomes hopefully freer, lighter, and feels really effortless. And essentially, this is what we'd like from our bodies to create more longevity, less injury, more efficiency. So you're going to take one more breath here. And then as you next round your spine, we're just going to set back into neutral position. So from here now, we're going to tuck the toes under and you're going to press back into your downward facing dog. So as you lift the hips, now a really good set point to notice if your hands and your feet are a good distance apart is I like to inhale, come forwards into my plank. I already know I'm too shallow because as I come forward into my plank, my shoulders are coming way over my wrists. So I'm going to set into my plank. I'm going to bring my wrists underneath my shoulders, find that space, comfort in my plank. So that feels good. And then I'm going to lift my hips. I'm coming back into this back body stretch, downward facing dog. Now I feel it more tweaky in my calves, in my hamstrings. It's like you're pushing the front edge of your mat away from you. Some of us are going to find this fairly tricky to begin with. We use downward dog as a rest pose, but indeed there's a lot going on here, including our core stable. So this is core work. It's a back body stretch, but it's also very much dependent on core stability. It doesn't matter if your heels are way away from the floor, you're spreading your fingers, spreading your palms. Now, if we're tight in the back line of the legs, we're going to bend the legs here. So you're rolling high onto the balls of the feet. And this just allows us, take a glance towards your hands. You want your hands parallel. So make sure you haven't got one hand in front of the other. And then as you bend your legs, you're pushing the front edge of the mat away from you. And it feels like you're trying to bring your belly and your lower ribs to nestle onto the tops of the thighs. Go easy on your neck. Now watch the shoulders here, because the shoulders inevitably, if we're tight here, want to lift up around the ears.
So don't do that. See if you can keep your shoulder blades moving down your back, and then we're going to start to straighten the legs. Check in with the knees. You want your knees tracking in line with your toes. We're going to straighten the legs off and just take a moment, and we're going to take some spine mobility movement from our downward facing dog. And if you find this difficult to hold, come down onto your knees at any point, take a rest pose or some cat-cow limbers. So on your next inhale, we're going to come forwards. So you're feeding your chest towards the space in front of you, but you're keeping your sit bones picking up into the space behind. So the spine is extending. Keep your belly fairly active here. It's not a big pickup. You just feel that soft activation. And then slowly you're going to round your spine. You're dropping your chin to your chest, and we're coming all the way back. So you're dropping your heels back down towards the floor, resetting, breathing in as you come forwards. Breathing out as you round. You can bend the legs here if that feels good. Breathing in. Breathing out. So really trying to, again, freestyle with that movement through the center of the body. It's very similar to what we were doing when we were on all fours, but now we're getting all the benefits too of the back body stretch. And again, it's requiring us to use the center of our body, our deep underlying abdominal muscles. So you're going to do that a couple more times. I have a variation for you against the wall, if that's going to help you to feel more steady and stable. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're going to reset onto all fours. So we're going to bring our knees to the floor. And you're just going to take a moment, you're going to walk your hands back towards your knees, and we're just going to take the legs out from underneath us, and we're just going to ease out from balancing on our hands. So sitting cross-legged. If it's difficult for you to sit cross-legged, you can grab a pillow, or if you're lucky enough to have a block, a shallow block like this, then you can sit upon the block, but you want to shuffle right to the very edge. And it's the same with the pillow, because this just enables us to find maybe a little bit more opening in the hips. As I often talk about, if we're slightly tight in the lower back and we're tight in the hips, then we'll probably be somewhere like this. So just having a support underneath you is really helpful. So we're going to bring the hands onto the tops of the knees. And again, we're just going to ease out by finding that swirling motion through the center of the body. So hands onto tops of the knees, you're going to round your spine, drop your chin to your chest, and then you're going to move all the way over to the right side. On your inhale, you're lifting your chest, sitting up tall, over to the left, and you're just moving and breathing. Now, some of us, if we're a little bit less used to moving with these kind of drills, initially we'll find, particularly if we're super strong and sometimes a little bit tight in the shoulders and maybe not used to working with the spine, we're going to hold on to the tops of the knees a little bit more, and you'll find that maybe you're having to activate your upper body strength and your arms, your shoulders to move the spine around. But over time, again, the more that you do this, you won't need to use your hands, because you'll just find that movement through the center of your body. We're just going to change the direction of the movement. So as you next round, you're going to take that into the opposite direction. Now, again, what's interesting about this is that when I'm not using my hands to support the movement, again, I'm having to use my deep underlying abdominal muscles. The multifidus, also the sinewy muscle layer that attaches into the lower back. So this is a great activation for all of those deep underlying muscle groups. So you're going to do one more rotation. Feels a little bit like you're belly dancing. Once more. And then we're just going to reset back into neutral. Okay, so we're going to try this against the wall. So if we found the downward dog variations difficult,
So if we found the variation with the spine mobility drills hard in the downward facing dog freestanding, this is a really nice variation using the wall. So if you found the downward dog okay, then you can kind of alternate between, both are valid. So we're going to find some wall space, and you're keeping a fair distance between the wall and your toe tips. You want to make sure your feet are about hip distance apart. So we're basically setting into a downward facing dog, but we're using the floor and the wall space in front. So we're going to bring our hands and we're going to bring them a little bit higher than our shoulders. So make sure your hands are level. You don't want one hand higher or lower than the other. So be really particular about this. And then you might need to take a little bit of a step back, because all we're going to do here is start to press the sit bones into the space in front of us, or behind us, sorry. So you're pressing your hips into the space behind, and you want to bring your ears in line with your arms. So just check down towards your feet. Check your heels are in line with your toes. Your knees are tracking in line with your toes. And press the wall away from you here. So take a moment, breathe. You're moving your shoulders down either side of the spine, and it feels a little bit like you're trying to rotate your armpits to face the floor underneath you, so there's an outward roll of the shoulders. So hold here, take a moment. Keep your palms pressing into the wall in front. Keep your fingers spreading. Feel the connection through the soles of your feet. And your quads are fairly active here, so gently lift your quads up above your knees. Now, if we're a little bit less mobile in the lower back, a really nice variation here is to start to bend the legs. And as you bend your legs, just again take a glance down towards your knees and your toes, because you want to keep your knees tracking in line with your toes. Now, this is going to promote a little bit more of an arc in the spine and the lower back. So take your awareness and your memory back to those cat-cow positions and the movement that we were doing in downward facing dog. So your gaze is just going to lift a little bit more into the space in front. Hold here, breathe. Keep your fingers spreading. Draw your belly in and up, and see if you can telescope your ribs. So it feels a little bit like you're trying to draw your lower ribs in towards the center of the body. Take a moment here. Now we're going to start to straighten the legs off, and then on your next exhale, you're going to round your spine. You're dropping your chin to your chest. So you're moving your sit bones in. Your hips come over your ankles. Then on your next inhale, you're going to press your sit bones into the space behind. So here's that spine mobility drill using the wall as you exhale, rounding. As you inhale, extending. Breathing out. Breathing in. Each time you move, see if you can get a little bit deeper into the space. So see if you can really start to feel into the space at the bottom of the exhale and at the top of the inhale. So this allows you to just momentarily hold space at either end of the movement. So this is when we're holding true static space as we ride the crest of the wave, breathing in and breathing out. You're just going to do that a couple more times. One more round. And then as you next lengthen, we're just going to ease out. You're going to step in towards the wall, and you're just going to shake your arms, shake your feet out. Okay, so we're going to do some seated twists. Do we need to move? Should we cut it again?
So if we have to transition, I think we just have to cut.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to do some seated twists. As I was saying right at the beginning of the sequence, twists are great for the spine, they're great for the lower back, they're also great for the shoulder girdle. Also really good for the digestive system. So we're just going to take a moment and we're going to set the feet into the floor. So you're going to bend your legs and again just check in with your toes. I'm really particular on alignment, not all the time, we don't want to get our protractors out, but this really sets the tone then for the rest of the movement. Okay, so for instance, if I was kind of hanging out in my feet and I had a natural kind of outward roll into the outside edges, then I might be here. Whereas this is kind of redefining any movement patterns that we might have. So we're trying to kind of unravel and unwind and become more body aware by using these kind of alignment cues. And you guys aren't alien to this because I know that this is what the guys at Sweat It do too. So setting your feet into the floor, bringing your hands just below your knees. And on your next exhale, you're going to start to round. So again, we're dropping the chin to the chest. Your arms are going to extend here. So that's where you stop the movement. And then on the inhale, again, you're going to just sit up. You're bending your arms, lifting your chest, and just move through that. So again, as you exhale, you're rounding your arms to extend. Scoop your belly so it feels a little bit like you're tilting your pelvis towards your face. On your inhale, sitting up, feeding your chest, through your shoulders, lifting, upright position, exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, any one of these drills, you can press pause and continue with this movement because quite honestly, the longer that you can maintain this movement and the breath work and the more that you practice this, the better the movement through the spine is going to be. Now, to ease out from that, we're just going to bring the hands behind us. You're going to point your fingertips towards the space behind you. So outward roll of the shoulders, and we're just going to rock the knees out from side to side. So seated twists, which we're going to set up now. Just rock the knees from side to side once more. And then we're going to come into an easy cross-leg position. So a good way of coming into supine twists, a nice gentle way if we feel restricted in the center of the body, is to sit cross-legged. Again, as we were doing earlier, if you need a cushion or you need a block, you're going to come right to the very edge, so you're using it like a wedge. And this is going to help to stack the primary masses, the head, the ribs, the pelvis. So the first seated twist we're going to do is very simple. I would like you please to bring your left hand onto the top of the right knee, and we're going to take the right hand behind us. Now again, you're turning your fingertips into the space behind, and you're just starting to turn the chest, roll the right shoulder into the space behind you. Think of the spine extending. Think of the top of your head extending into the space above you. Now again, bring your awareness into your head, your ribs and your pelvis. So feel the connection of your sit bones into the floor, into the block or into your cushion. And as your sit bones press down, the top of your head extends and lifts further up towards the ceiling. Now breathe here. But what we want to do when we set into the twist is, again, draw the belly in and up. So we're creating that internal lift and lock, and this automatically brings the breath higher into the chest cavity, into the intercostal region between the ribs. So this is great for toning the breath, great for the movement of the diaphragm. Now you're going to take one more here. And then on your next inhale, you're going to come forwards, and we're just going to set that up the other side. So right hand, left knee, left fingertips behind, and you're just turning your chest, rolling your shoulder. Go easy on your gaze. Now, I prefer to keep my gaze neutral, so my chin is either kind of over my chest or maybe a little bit further to the side. I don't like cranking my neck or my gaze over my shoulder. I find that too much on the neck, but I'm me, you're you, so you might even want to bring some movements as you glide your chin from shoulder to shoulder. So just do what feels nice. Do what feels good for your body. So your yoga practice, your movement practice, your breath work is an opportunity to start to become aware of the movements and the breath work that you're feeding your body, much like food. So if it feels good, then do it. If it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. And that's the balance. So just hold here again. You're scooping your belly, lifting your chest. Breathe extension through the spine. One more. And then really slowly on your next inhale, we're going to release and you're going to come all the way back through center. So we're going to take the block or the cushion out from underneath us. Now extend your legs out in front and I want you to bend your right knee in towards you. So your left leg is extended. Again, you're trying to just keep a sensation and awareness into the center of your body, into your pelvis. So you want to try and find the connection of both of your sit bones into the floor. So from here now, we're going to take the right foot and we're actually going to place it outside of the left knee. Now, if you're a little bit more mobile, it might be that you get to take the foot a little bit higher up the thigh. And hold here, just take a moment, how does that feel? So if this is good for you, then keep the left leg extended and you want to try and keep as much of your right foot as you can connecting into the floor. If you want to move a little bit deeper, you could start to lift your right butt cheek away to swing this left leg around. And then you want to connect your right sit bone back down into the floor. So we're not sitting on the left heel. We're keeping the connection through the sole of the right foot and you're bending your left leg. Now this is automatically you're gonna feel that there's something more going on in the lower body. So, be aware of that. And again, you're trying to sit up as tall as you can. If this is too much, bring that left leg back out in front of you. So the same movement that we did before, we're going to bring the left palm to the outside now of the right thigh. We're taking the right hand behind us and we're just moving into this deep twist. Great for the piriformis, great for the glutes. Again, drawing the belly in and up, awesome for the spine. You'll feel a deeper twist, ringing through the center of your body. Not forgetting all the cues that I gave you before. So sitting up tall, drawing your belly gently in and up. Go easy on your neck. Think of your inhale as lifting and extending, and your exhale is spinning you a little bit deeper into the space. See if you can release, soften into the legs, into the lower body, because when we soften into the lower body, this enables us to find a little bit more of a movement through the twist. Imagine yourself as a corkscrew here. Let's take one more inhale, one more exhale, and then slowly we're going to unwind and you're going to extend your legs out and just give them a bit of a shake out. You can bring your fingers onto your thighs and just give them a bit of a rub. And then we're going to set that up the other side. So now we're going to bend the left leg. Just take a moment. Again, make sure that your left hip hasn't come too far back as you draw the foot in. So you want to reposition through the hips, through the pelvis. You're going to bring your left foot, place it outside of the right knee, or maybe if there's a little bit more mobility, you can bring the foot a little bit higher up the leg. Now you can stay here. We can set into the twist with the leg extended, or you're going to roll a little bit further onto the right side. So my left butt cheek lifts. I'm swinging my leg around, but I don't want to sit on the ankle. I'm going to bring both of my sit bones back down into the floor. Again, if you want to bend the leg, but you notice you can't connect the sit bone into the floor, you've got your cushion or your block handy, I could come into this position. So you've got your props, use them. You've got your blanket or your block, use it. So block to the sit bone or
If you're not using it, that's fine. We're going to bring the right palm outside of the left thigh and left fingertips behind. And again, move into your twist. So take your time. There's no rush. It feels a little bit like you're trying to gather the inside of the thigh in towards your belly, sitting up as tall as you can. Now, some of us will feel a little bit like we're leaning back into the arm. You might be finding that the left arm is bending. You're trying to draw the fingertips as close as you can in towards your lower back, and you really want to find that extension as much as you can. This is helping the spine. It's using and working into your core stability. Breathe here. So as you lift, extend, think of your inhale as finding that movement, and your exhale is turning you a little bit deeper into the twist. Let's take a couple more breaths. Draw the inside of the thigh closer in towards your belly, closer in towards your chest. You'll feel the stretch deep, running along the outside of the thigh, deep in the glutes. One more here. And then slowly you're going to unravel and unwind. So we're going to place the feet into the floor. Make sure you've got plenty of mat space behind you. And then really slowly reaching your arms forwards, we're going to lower and peel the spine all the way down into the mat. So as you lower, taking your spine dot to dot down into the floor, and finally resting your shoulder blades, the back of your head down into the floor. And then you can either extend the legs and take a few moments. So we end the session as we started, just maybe closing the eyes, focusing on the breathing and the unraveling and unwinding of any tension or tightness in your body. When you've taken your time, rolling onto one side, and then slowly pushing yourself up to sit.
Thanks, guys.